party is insane. I'm kind of embarrassed by it.
It's amazing. I'm having such a good time. I'm going to have to leave soon.
Oh, no. Are you still writing?
I am still writing, yeah, actually.
Do you have an agent?
I don't have an agent, no. I mean, I have a boyfriend. He lives in Prospect Heights. He's alive and well there, so.
Well, that's really great. Hopefully he's hetero.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And we just got finished watching episode 9, Leave Me Alone, which was directed by Richard Shepard, written by Lena Dunham and Bruce Eric Kaplan. Original air date, June 10th, 2012. Big drop-off on viewers this episode.
Interesting.
Big drop-off. Last episode had over 1 million, 1.09 million. This episode, 0.866.
Huh. It's interesting. Like, I don't get how. Yeah, I don't understand how that works. Like, why they drop off. Like, who was like, hey, you have to see this one.
And then they saw the last episode and they're like, fuck that show for
yeah. Like, they were like,
200,000 people were like, nah.
Yeah. I'm not into it. No, I am. No, I'm not. So we found out what Leave Me Alone, who that's referring to.
Yeah. The title is Leave Me Alone. Initial thoughts upon watching this episode.
I left this episode. I felt like this episode ratcheted stuff up really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of out of the blue. Like, it didn't build. Like, the last episode wasn't building to what this episode was.
Yeah.
Really. And
this one felt kind of meandering to me at points. And just like.
Well, this is the most writery talk about writing episode 2.
Yeah.
Which we've had that stuff, but it's always been like in a funny way, you know, like in a kind of like, oh, this is the thing, and like it bothers her this way and that way. But this one's like all about that. And Leave Me Alone is the title of a book
that Hannah's writing rival from college wrote.
Yeah, her arch nemesis.
Who's
played by Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate with a like wicked fucking like 80s hairdo, like curly and blown out.
Yeah, it definitely looks like she's getting ready to go to like an 80s 90s prom or something.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. This episode's kind of tough.
You know what? Let's just dive in with the opening scene, and then we'll get into the people, because the opening scene has everybody.
Yeah, the opening scene has everybody. Was Jessa there?
Jessa
was there.
She is there. Yeah, it's Jessa and Shoshanna and Hannah. So it opens on the book.
Yeah, they're at a book, like
a book release party.
Yeah.
And it's a book called Leave Me Alone, written by Tally Schifrin, played by Jenny Slate. And that's a former college classmate of Hannah's character. Mm-hmm. And Hannah is not a fan of this girl.
Hannah hates this girl. She thinks that her writing sucks. She thinks that she's a bad person. And her boyfriend committed suicide.
Shoshanna's reading the book, and she's like, "Oh my god, her boyfriend
committed suicide on purpose.
Killed himself on purpose by taking Percocets and crashing a vintage car."
Yeah,
and Hannah's like, "I know, she's so lucky."
Yeah, they keep going throughout this whole episode.
They do it more than I would think.
They talk about how lucky she is that her boyfriend killed himself,
and I get the gesture and the humor of like Hannah saying she's lucky that her boyfriend killed herself to give her the content to write.
Yeah.
Like, I get that, like, in the passing, and it's like, okay. And it's also like, wow, Hannah's, like, really...
It's brutal.
Yeah, like, Hannah really hates this girl.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, man, Hannah, this girl's probably going to be nice. And Hannah's just going to be like
You're going to be like, wow,
mean.
Hannah's being a bitch just because she's jealous of her writing.
Yeah.
But then they meet each other, and wow, she is a bad person.
I don't know if you guys have seen Fleabag, but there are some passive aggressive daggers being thrown left and right. Like,
dude, it was
like
harsh. Oof. I even, while we were watching, I went, oh my God, this is brutal,
Yeah.
dude.
She's like, oh, like there's stuff like where Tal's like, oh, are you still? Oh, she's like, oh, the book poured out of me. I know how like with you, it was like it's always so hard.
It's always so hard, and like because it's hard for you because writing doesn't come naturally to you.
Yeah.
And this just came out of me like just like an open like birth or something.
It looks like it was like a water birth. And it just came right out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, do you still write? She's like, yeah, I do. Do you have an agent or something? She's like, no, but I have a boyfriend. He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive and well. And I was
Yeah.
like, God, dude, they're
Yeah,
throwing
they were just-
haymakers at each other.
And none of them are ducking. It's like watching Rocky. And it's like, put up your dukes. They're just all taking shots.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it ever stepped over into just being aggressive. It was passive aggressive the entire time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was so awful to watch.
It was weird because I was like, oh, I know Hannah's just going to be jealous. But no, this girl is bad.
Yeah, she's
like,
a bad person. And
yeah.
it was this
Which happens. Like there are bad people that succeed in
for
things all
sure.
the time. So like
this episode is just hard to watch.
it's a rough one.
Yeah. Not
like-
only just because of like I don't know, I felt like the stories were weird, but like
There's a
there were
lot of emotional and a lot of combative arguing and
there's a lot of
just
cringy moments.
and it doesn't like build up to these, it just kind of goes. Like this scene just happens.
Yeah, it's like she walks up to her.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Jenny Slate, she says hi to Hannah. It's like,
Yeah.
you obviously don't like this girl.
Oh, but that's the thing.
To rub
it's
it
gonna
in.
It's gonna be the rub.
It's
it
a
in.
rub
She's
it
like,
in kind of thing.
She's like, oh my god, I'm loving this. Like Hannah's like, oh, I love it. It's such a great party. I'm gonna have to leave soon.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I normally eat everything, but this is cold and bad, and I don't like it.
She like takes like a dumpling or something off of like a tray that's being served and
Yeah.
like spits it out.
Yeah, and that was gross.
Yeah.
Back to Joe's eating report. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
She gained some points last episode when she was eating ice cream like a human being, but then she just like spat out a dumpling. I was like, you lost me.
If someone told you what would cringe you more, Hannah's character eating ice cream or Hannah's character spitting out a dumpling, would you have picked ice cream initially without having seen either?
Oh.
If you had to think. If someone was like, Hannah eats a dumpling or Hannah eats ice cream.
Yeah. If you had said Hannah eats a dumpling versus Hannah eats ice cream,
Yeah.
I would think ice cream would be worse.
Yeah.
But
because there's so many different ways to eat ice cream in a weird way. And like,
yeah, I could see her like trying to do it seductively and just being, ooh, ew.
the only way to do the dumpling the weird way is if you did the whole, like where you pop the whole thing into your mouth. You know when someone puts something too far into their mouth to eat it? Like, you don't have to like.
But
she's just like popping them.
She
like,
took a
take that.
bite and then spat it out in her hand.
Yeah,
and I
that
was
didn't
just-
bother me. So anyway,
I mean, that was on top of her being just like the most passive aggressive.
I mean, but
dude.
They both were justified in their attacks.
Yeah, they had.
So I was like, all right, both going for it.
I mean, both of them. It was like watching, a classic heavyweight bout. Like, they were both going.
Yeah.
Fucking whop.
No one's letting up.
My boyfriend's alive and well. Whop. You have an agent? No. Whop. Fucking this party sucks, or I'm gonna leave soon. And then it ends with the ultimate haymaker of like, well, I have to go because there's a person from the New York Times here who's dying to talk to me, and I'd feel like shit if I didn't. And then, what was her last line?
She said, I also have to take a dump.
I have to take a poop really bad or something.
Yeah, I was like, poop really bad.
What?
I was like, that's just that classic Lena Dunham humor at the end of a scene, which is fine.
But, God.
And then we meet, and then Marnie comes over and she talks about like that she kind of likes Tally's books.
Yeah.
She thinks she speaks for the generation or speaks a voice of their.
Yeah, she's a good writer, and she's letting people in, gives them insight about what it's like to be like in your 20s as a woman right now.
Exactly. Which Lena Dunham's like, that's me.
Yeah, I'm the voice of our generation.
Yeah. And then we see her teacher,
her former professor,
Professor Goldman,
Powell Goldman, played by Michael Imperioli.
Yes, that's the. I was like, I know that actor. Just was drawing a blank on his name.
Yeah, I don't know what he's from. He just talks out of the side of his mouth.
I believe he's in The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
HBO.
I have
actors,
not seen The Sopranos. I will take flack for that.
He was in The Sopranos,
yeah, but I do. as the pop culture junkies that we are,
we haven't seen a lot of stuff.
we don't watch everything. We're just catching up on girls.
There's only so much time in the day.
Not against The Sopranos, just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's great.
Heard nothing but good things.
But I just had to tackle girls before the.
Yeah, you got to do it in. You got to do it in that. You got to do it out of order. We're working our way from the middle back of HBO's catalog.
God.
Yeah.
So Marnie sees the professor, and she's like, "Hey, you were obsessed with that guy." And
like,
Hannah's like, "No, I wasn't." And she's like, "Yeah, you were."
And I'm like, "Oh no."
Yeah, exactly. And then he sees her, and he's like, "Hey, Hannah, what's up?" And then Marnie's like, "Oh, go for it."
And like I've said,
slinks
everybody
away.
is so super happy to see her. Like on that episode when she goes back to town, no one's like, "Oh, Hannah's here."
Right?
They're like,
or like avoids her, like, "Oh,
Hannah."
fuck, Hannah's
Like
here.
everyone wants to go out with her. Everyone wants to be around her. Like,
Well, because as we find out from her professor fancies her quite a good writer. And he thinks that Tally is a terrible writer.
yeah.
And that's why he always liked Hannah, because she was a good writer. And Hannah's like, oh, thank you. Fucking stupid.
Some people just can't take compliments, you know?
Stupid.
But then he invites her to a reading.
Book,
like
an essay reading or
yeah,
some
just
shit.
like they're having a reading and he invites her to it, and she's like, it's not a Hannah thing to do. And
Yeah.
he's like, what's the Hannah thing to do? And she's just like shakes her head like, no.
Yeah, then you smash cut to her being fucked. Well, not fucked, but just naked next to Adam.
And
it's like, that's a
that,
Hannah thing to do.
Is that the Yoko Ono pose of like he's got his leg over like
Yeah.
over her like private
Genital.
like genitals, like he's got her legs over her waist,
naughty bits.
her naughty bits, and like I was just like, and then and his arms are over her breast, so
Her
it's
arms
like,
are over her breast,
and
his
he's like
legs over
cradled
her-
over her like that.
Yeah.
So and it's just like that top down shot.
Yeah, and Hannah's just like she's in a permanent eye roll.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't believe I'm here.
And
with
I was just
Adam.
like really confused. I'm like, is she like, was she just mad that because it was like a hard cut where you're like, oh my God, is she in bed with the professor?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh no, she's in bed with Adam. But then she wasn't like she was fantasizing about the professor in it. She was fantasizing about whether or not to do the reading, it seemed.
I think she was just contemplating all of her failures.
Yeah.
Because
and Adam,
because she had just come from Tally's book reading.
Yeah.
Her professor was like, "You've always been the better writer. Like, you should come to this reading that I'm doing."
Yeah.
And it's like somebody that she respects, so she's like, "Maybe I will." Yeah. And then she's like,
"What's my other failing? Oh, this guy that's lying on top of me."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this episode sucks.
No,
no, not our episode, but the episode
I'm not
of the
saying
show.
I wasn't saying no.
No, we're
episode.
killing it.
I'm just saying, this is whatever.
Yeah. This episode is very meh.
So, well, then, like, I want to kind of dive into the character that they show for a minute, and then we don't see her again. And that's Shoshanna. Let's just tackle Shoshanna real quick.
Yeah, let's tackle Shoshanna before we get back to Hannah.
Yeah, because Hannah and Marnie's story comes to a head at the end of this one. And
yeah.
We want to really get to that.
I mean, we're already like halfway through Hannah's shit, though.
I know. Well, we do have some Jessa, too. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's
Shoshanna, Jessa, and then
let's just
tackle
go
Hannah.
quickly through Shoshanna because that's what this fucking episode did. Let's just throw her away like some fucking piece of trash that she is. But she's a gem, and they do not focus on the best character.
They set her
the
up.
Funniest character.
They have set her up for so much stuff that you could just like in quick cuts pay off. And
yeah.
So anyway, Shoshanna's standing outside of the bookstore with Jessa, and like she's looking, and she's like, "Oh my God, can you believe we were just at the center of this?" Like because they were at the book signing, and now there's like the placard and the window display of the book being sold at a store, and Jessa's like, "Yeah, I can't believe it." Like Jessa's not phased at all, but like Shoshanna's so innocent, she can't believe she was at a party, and then it's like seeing a celebrity on the TV show and then seeing him in real life and being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I was a part of that."
Yeah.
So you gotta love that little naivety, innocence,
yeah.
And then she goes, I really learned something from that paragraph of her book I read. Yeah, which I love.
So gold.
And it's like I really need to like you don't know how much time we have left. We got to really live life to the fullest. And
then fucking Jessa is like, I know exactly how much time I have left because my mom fucking,
Because my mom gave me to her.
My mom's psychic told me when I was born that she kissed me on the bottom and said that I was going to live to be 105. So I know I have that much left. I was like,
and then I love Shoshanna's like, okay, well, anyway.
She's like, okay, well, I don't know how much time I have left.
Yeah.
So I need to live a little more. So I created an online dating profile.
Yeah. And this is 2012, people.
2012. It's not as mainstream as it is now. And so she's like, I didn't want to join Match because that's where all the ugly people are. I was like, savage. So she joined, I don't know what the one that she joined is. But
I think it was a made-up.
Yeah. She was like, because it was the most expensive, and that's good. And I have a date tonight with a guy named Bryce, and we're going to do all this cool artsy stuff. And I have a date, and I need to meet in public because that's how you don't get raped, and blah, blah, blah. And Jessa's just kind of looking at her like.
Mile a minute. I love it. It's
yeah.
great.
Jess is just looking at her like, you're fucking crazy, but like, whatever.
And she's like, what are you going to do today?
And then she's like, so what are you going to do today? And Jess is like, I'm going to remake our home. And then Shoshanna's like, without me? And he's like, yup. And Shoshanna's like, okay, I guess that's cool. And that's it for Shoshanna.
We do not pay off.
We don't see her on a date with Bryce, which is a cool name.
Yeah. And oddly enough, we don't pay off 2 episodes ago when she was massaging Ray's crotch on the sidewalk.
Dude,
they didn't pay that off at all. Like, it's so weird they don't pay it off because Ray is in this episode too.
Oh yeah, Ray's in this episode hard. And they don't some great lines.
And Ray's doing 100% Ray stuff.
Yep.
But they don't pay off the Shoshanna thing from the last one. And like, it's fine if they're going to build up to it because then I think they might be doing these intermediate episodes to pay off stuff. Because the next episode is going to be the finale of the season. So maybe they're saving Shoshanna's,
Who knows, man? But it's like, why even include her in this episode if you're not going to do anything with her?
Nothing that she did in this episode did anything for any of the characters.
It didn't add to anything.
It was only her story.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need her at the book signing to
is this the thing where...
Because Marnie liking the book is what matters. No one cares if Shoshanna likes it.
Yeah. Is this a thing where, like in video games, you have to get exclusive downloadable content? Like, you have to download Shoshanna's story and pay extra for it? Because, like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
And honestly, I've just known this show based off of the posters and stuff. Like, I haven't seen anything really, and I was like, oh, so it's about these 4 girls.
Yeah. No, it's about
2.5 girls. And they're somewhat friends with each other, somewhat.
Yeah. And I don't know why they dude.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go to
Jessa after this because fucking that's the end of Shoshanna. I'm sorry, everybody. If you like Shoshanna, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I know. And we've been championing her, but
she wasn't in the last episode at all.
No.
She was in this episode for. I feel like I had more lines in this episode than Shoshanna did, and I fucking. It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah. But whatever. She got a lot of lines. She did say a lot in her little time.
Sorry that we detoured away from Hannah, but
we're getting back to.
We're going to get back to Hannah and Marnie, but we have to. But like, the injustice that Shoshanna is being shown.
Is it just because she's young? Is it ageism hitting? Ageism hitting it hard?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's like Lena Dunham felt like she had to have like a likable character, but
it is a it's a Sex and the City-esque show in the structure of like the 4 women, one writer. Like, it has elements of that. It's like not exact. It's not Sex and the City, but it fills that role for that age bracket in that time. Yeah. And it's just different side. It's like if you watch Sex and the City, you're like, oh, this is like if you were watching like Gossip Girl, which was like, oh, this is like the Upper West Side type version of that. Versus, oh, this is like how we do it here. And
the crazy Brooklyn people.
Yeah,
these hipsters. So we'll hop over to Jessa. Yeah. Who is by far my least favorite character?
They are trying to do.
They're trying to do something with her.
They've been trying to revamp this character this whole season. Yeah, it seems like
every episode is a retcon of her.
Yeah, it's like more retconny than Star Wars movies recently. They're like, no, what you saw before, that's not what happened.
Yeah, so she's remaking her apartment without Shoshanna, which is fucking rude as shit.
Yeah. But by remake it looks like she's just folding up a mess of laundry and
stuff.
I don't know
like she's just like pushing a couch. Yeah, I don't know. You don't really see much of the apartment anyway because Shoshanna's barely in this show, and Jessa's always out being the worst. So gets a knock on the door. She's like, "Come in," and it's Catherine Hahn, the babysitter.
Catherine,
the babysitter's mom.
Yeah,
the lady whose kids Jessa babysits.
Yes, she's the
babysitter mom.
She's the person that hired Jessa originally to babysit those kids. Yeah. And it is really, this scene goes all over the place. All over the place. So she comes in and there's like this awkward tension. We don't know what has happened between that episode of she comes in and she's like, "I
need you back and we need to rehire you. The girls need you and I need you. Fuck Jeff."
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what happened? Like, what did Jeff say? What did she say? Like,
what does she know?
Yeah.
What do the girls know? What does Jeff? Is he still in the picture?
Is he still living with you? Like, is he out? Like, a lot of questions right there. Mm-hmm. But then he just hard cut to the next scene, and then we go back to Jessa. And then they're sitting on the couch, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Catherine's talking about how, like, she knew Jess was like, or Jeff is that guy's name.
Yeah.
She knew Jeff was like bad news and I couldn't see it, and like almost thanking her for like kind of exposing that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, then she says something where she's not over it.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's still.
Well,
like,
she said that she's like, "I've been having dreams about you," and Jess is like, "What kind of dreams?" She's like, "Well, dreams where I stab you repeatedly, chop you up into little pieces, and then I eat you, and the girls are there, and Jeff's there, and my mom is breastfeeding Jeff, and I'm eating you, and then I shit you out, but not all of you." Which leads me to believe that I'm still holding on to some anger. And I'm like,
that is
happening.
That is some beautiful visual writing.
Yeah.
But my God, at that point, if you're Jessa, you got to be like, "Wait, did you just say you wanted me back in the house?"
Right.
Like the first thing, like you just said you need me back with the kids.
I need you back. The kids need you. But I've also been dreaming of stabbing you and eating you and shitting you. Out. What?
Yeah. Like, okay. So that's over the place twice. Okay. And then the next time we see them, they're sitting in I feel like they're sitting in different places every time.
Yeah.
And Catherine's like, "I want to help you."
Well, she's like, Jess is like, I can't come back to work. Yeah. And she's like, I know.
And I was like, well, why'd
you fucking say that?
Why was that the opening line?
What are you doing?
Like, now it's like, oh, my goal wasn't to get you back to babysit the kids, which I probably need more of now that Jeff is not in the picture.
Maybe not in the picture. Still not addressed.
I don't know why they needed a babysitter when Jeff didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, why did they?
Because he's got to go walk around the city with Horatio Sands.
Yeah, we haven't seen since.
Yeah.
And they go on, like, she's out of town and whatever.
Dude.
Whatever. That's their life problems. But, so she's like, "Okay, I know you can't come back. So I really came over here to try to help you."
I feel like I need to be the mother to you.
Yeah,
it's like I want to be your mom.
I'm not old enough to be your mother. Baby's having babies, right? Like, it's so awkward.
Yeah.
And then Jess is like, "I don't need your help." And she says, and Jessa's in her, like, not snarky, not, like, sly, making a joke moments in any of these.
Yeah.
She's, like, every time you cut to a shot of her, she's very somber looking, Like, if you look in her eyes.
Especially in this scene. When she's like, "I feel like you need a mother."
Yeah.
Because whatever. And then she's looking very sad to Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
And Catherine Hahn basically just lays it out to her. She's like, "I feel like you are very sad and very miserable, and you're stopping yourself from becoming the woman that you could be. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what would make you happy, but I can tell that you're very miserable." And it's a cut to Jessa, and she's just looking very miserable.
Yeah, she's looking like, "Oh man, these words finally sunk."
Yeah, you're doing stuff to distract yourself from becoming the woman you're meant to be.
Yeah. And I asked you this question when we were watching. I was like, is Catherine Hahn's character a therapist?
I have no idea.
That's what I was confused by.
She could be.
Yeah, I'm like, if she's a therapist, and then she's like, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can help you. Like,
yeah,
but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if she was just like, yeah, I'm just a lady that's been through this and I know. Or is she like, I literally can help you?
You know what's great is her character's name is Catherine.
Oh, yeah. No, it's yeah.
I've just been calling her Catherine Hahn this whole
I
time.
I actually wrote it down there. Her name. I wrote her name down as Catherine, not even thinking of it.
But yeah, and then that basically wraps up Jess's story.
But yeah, it's like, in that moment, I was just like, it's just when she came in, she's like, we need to hire you back. Now I'm super angry. I'm still holding on to this anger.
Yeah, I can't be around you because if I do, I might kill you.
And then she asked her, did you do anything? Like, because we're trying to figure out what she knows.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know.
Like, nothing did happen.
And she's like, I'm happy you, like, cut it off before it went anywhere. And it was like, and she's like, nothing happened. He's like, no, I initially found him attractive the first, like, 5 minutes I saw him, but I find everybody initially attractive, and then it just wears off.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. So, like, she didn't sleep with your husband. It's fine.
Yeah.
But did she tell her that happened, or did he come back with like a slightly bloody nose and then go, "Well, I went out with our nanny." Like who?
Yeah.
Spilled?
How did she get this
who
information?
spilled the beans?
Yeah. This show sucks.
No,
This episode sucks.
Well, it feels like they brushed over like a scene that really needed to be shown. Like even if the scene was Catherine Hahn firing Jessa and then coming back to Jessa and being like, okay,
They could have did that in the last episode.
Yeah, or
could have did that this episode.
I mean, I don't know. It just felt like they had this thing where we didn't see that middle gap, and then all of a sudden we have the like follow up. Because I don't understand. And Captain Hahn, to give her this, she hasn't been in a lot of the episodes.
No.
Since the hiring, like it's been mostly Jeff and Jessa.
Well, it doesn't even get to the fact like. It's not even her decision. It's the kids' decision because she works for the kids. You're not friends with me. You work for my kids. So, like, why aren't the kids over there?
That would be amazing if the two kids knocked on the door and came back and everything was said the same way.
Yeah.
If everything was said the same way, it was the same dialogue. It's just with the kids saying it. Well, I was peeping out, and my mommy was breastfeeding Jeff. And I pooped you, but I didn't poop you all out.
So we need you back.
You know I can't come back. We know, but we can help you. You're not living your full life.
You're not becoming the woman that you're meant to be.
I would love that. If that happened.
Man, fuck this episode.
Why are you so angry against it?
Because it sucks. This one left.
Well, we gotta talk about it. You can't just be.
I know. We're talking about it. We have to talk about it, but it's just there's so many dangling.
We're obligated by that contract we signed to talk about
with
this
the devil to talk about this show, doing this podcast for fame and fortune.
Is famine and torture? What?
No. You misunderstood. You misunderstood. You didn't say fame and fortune. We said famine and torture. Damn it. Oh, well, we already signed the contract.
I don't know why I give you power of attorney.
Yeah. All right, so let's hop back to Hannah and Marnie. And
so Hannah. So
shit.
we're back to Hannah. It's basically Hannah's story until the end with Marnie.
Yeah, because that really wraps up. Shoshanna and Jessa are like out of the picture. Pretty much.
Jessa's getting some therapy basically, and Shoshanna is apparently going on a
date with Bryce that we never see.
So nothing happened with her and Ray apparently.
Who knows?
So Hannah. This is an interesting side note. Hannah is talking to Marnie. And they're in the kitchen, and like, she's telling her about having to do this book signing thing, this book reading, and she's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna do this story I wrote about this hoarder, that I wrote about a hoarder I dated in college or something." Yeah. And Marnie's like, "Oh, okay,
really? That one?"
Yeah.
And Hannah's like,
"Wait, you don't?
Maybe not. Did you not like that one?" She's like, "No, it's
like." What did she say? She said something about, I forget exactly what she said, but she basically was like, no, not really. And then like Hannah took it a little personally.
Yeah.
Which I remember when I was watching that scene, I was like, well, she's like, Hannah's like, Marnie, do you not like it? I'm like, well, Hannah, Marnie doesn't like you.
Yeah.
From everything we've seen in the last few episodes, she doesn't like you, so she definitely doesn't like anything you write.
Yeah, she's been talking trash about Hannah to everybody that would listen.
Yeah. And then she mentions, and then Marnie, she's like, oh, you're never supportive. Hannah's like, oh, you're not supportive of me. What are you talking about? I literally support you.
Yeah.
I've been paying for, how much money you owe me? And she's like, I know. That's why I took a part-time shift at Grumpy's.
The coffee shop
place
where Ray works.
Yeah. So I was like, yes. And I was like, are we actually going to see this place?
Yeah, right?
I was like,
is Ray going to be in this episode? Are we going to find out what happened when Shoshanna was massaging his cock?
I was like, oh, maybe they'll talk about that. Or they'll be like, hey, where's that Shoshanna girl?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no. So then we go to,
But you can, at this point, you can start to see the threads of Marnie supporting Hannah financially start to come undone, because you can tell like the pressure is starting to piss Marnie off, and Marnie's getting mad at Hannah, and she's just like, the fuse is lit.
Well, I'm always surprised that money issue didn't come up episodes ago.
Yeah, because how much money is Marnie making?
Yeah, like to do a 2-bedroom apartment by herself. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, man. And it's one of those things where like she was in, like, that was like 4 episodes ago when they went back home. She's like, asked your parents for rent.
Yeah, that was so long ago, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You can just see that Marnie's getting pissed that Hannah's like always kind of in her own shit. Bye, Tiff. No, that's all good. But like Marnie is starting to get pissed off because Hannah is just always talking about her problems. It's what she brought up a couple episodes ago about her being selfish and all this other shit. And Marnie's just like paying for all this stuff for her, and it doesn't seem like Hannah really appreciates it. She doesn't thank her. And then so Hannah eventually goes, well, thanks for doing that, in like kind of a shitty thank you way.
Well, the thing is, a lot of times when arguments like this happen, it's not that's the thing that she's blaming on, but it's not the reason. And we do get to the reason at the end, which we'll dive into in a little bit. But like the real reason why Marnie's the way she is, it's because she's not with Charlie. Yeah. Really. I mean, that's it.
Her defining characteristic is gone
like,
now.
Yeah, it's like I am the person that is uptight and in a couple.
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship and I have my life together.
Yeah.
And I'm not in a relationship. My life is not together.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is like her life is together. It's just she doesn't have the Vance cracking open a beer. Fucking girl beer, baby.
Girl beer?
Yeah, these are the girl beers now.
Oh, yeah, these are the podcast beers. Yeah. We won't give the branding away until
they sponsor us. Any beer companies out there listening, if you want to support this podcast, we'll advertise your beer on this fucking podcast all day, every day.
Cans or bottles.
I've never drank in my entire life. I'll start drinking if you give us money. Anyway.
I've never not drank in my life.
Yeah. So.
You can get that kind of excitement.
So then Marnie's just kind of pissed off, and then Hannah thanks her, and it's kind of like, okay. Yeah. Reset.
So, we're getting a little, little seeds of turmoil are being planted.
I don't know what's next. Is it that she goes to the coffee shop, or is it that Adam shows up? No, it is Adam shows up.
It's coffee shop. I thought it was coffee shop.
No, because Adam shows up.
Oh yeah, Adam walks through the scene like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah,
my God.
He walks in. He's beatboxing. He's got a shirt on, no shirt on, and shorts, and he's just like. And just like getting stuff from the fridge.
He goes to the fridge, and it's a great shot because it's like a wide shot, and you see Marnie just like inch away from him. She's so creeped out. It's gonna be so weird when she sleeps with Adam.
Dude, stop it!
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna
I
be
love
so
that
weird.
You won't let this.
I'm not gonna let. I have.
Also, the fridge magnets haven't really changed.
I was noticing the fridge this episode.
Yeah.
They've come a long way from the pilot. Yeah. They still have the poster, and they got the fridge magnets on the top.
Yeah. So Adam's walking around, goes into Hannah's room, comes out of Hannah's room and goes, hey, don't come in here for 10 minutes. Closes the door, starts blasting hardcore punk music. Yeah. And Marnie scoots a chair up right next to Hannah's face and is like, did you give him a key to our apartment? And Hannah's like, no, he's using my key. Yeah. Which, like,
I was like a relief.
Yeah.
Like, he better be using your key, because if this dude can come in and out of your apartment whenever you want.
Well, it's also rude of her not to ask Marnie if that's okay to give him a key, Yeah,
but I think he just has her key because he ran out to do something and he came back in. But, like, if he has full access to your apartment.
Yeah. So then out of nowhere, you just hear something break.
Yeah.
And then the music stops, and you hear Adam go, "Oh, fuck!" And then the music turns up again.
Yeah.
It's like,
and the
going
craziest
on?
thing is the look on Hannah's face is like, "Oh, Adam."
That's Adam. And Marnie's like, "That's Adam."
Yeah.
What?
And the weirdest thing is, like, how are they not... Besides the scene last episode where, like, Marnie was sitting and complaining about her life a little bit and, like, Adam chimed in.
Yeah.
How have we not had a scene of Jessa being just a Jessa-Adam scene? Like,
yeah.
Like, how have we not had that yet?
That needs to happen
They
ASAP.
They talked about it. Like, is he just a goob or he's just a guy? I'm like, why? I want to see Jessa interact with Adam. And not, like, self-improvement Jessa. I want
Brutally honest Adam to like trash her but not even realize that he's trashing her.
Yeah, it's like in the contract they're like not allowed to be around this guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm like like once you introduce him, all the girls should be like, who is this character? We had to sit down with dinner with like Ray and all of Ray's and Charlie's friends like that early episode. I'm like, are we not having a dinner?
No.
With this guy, so you guys can all just grill him.
Well, who would they go out? It would be him and the 4 girls.
Yes.
He'd be fifth wheel like that fucking old reality show.
And he wouldn't even realize he's a fifth wheel, or he would but not care. Anything.
It needs to happen.
I just want to see. I just don't know why we haven't seen them interact. It's fun.
I'm all over the place this episode, man.
Well, it's kind of yeah. Whatever. Okay, so this what happens next. What happens next is she goes to Cafe Grumpy, the coffee shop with Ray.
Wait, when does she tell Adam that she's doing the reading?
That scene. I think that scene, like she goes into the room next and she says,
and then she's like, I think I want to do the reading, and Adam's like, fuck that, I'm not going.
He's like doing crunches and push-ups.
Oh, she goes, do you want to go? And he goes, no. He's doing crunches. Yeah. And she's like, why wouldn't you want to go? And he goes, because readings are bullshit. It's a bunch of drunk people who think what they're saying is important and they're all full of shit. And I was like, wow.
And then they got those little crackers. You're not sure if they're crackers or cookies. And there's nothing cheese and there's no meat. If it was meat, I'd eat it. But there's not. And he's just doing crunches while this is happening. And it's so well
and push-ups.
Yeah.
And then, he's in great shape.
Oh,
he's doing clapping push-ups. Those are impressive.
He's a military man.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so they're rambling a bit, and then he's like, sit on my back. And she's like, how? And he's like I told you before. Yeah. And then she just slams onto his back and crushes him onto the floor. And he's like, oh!
It's great physical comedy.
Yeah,
I did love that
funny.
part. Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Hannah's at the coffee shop, shows up wearing a big white dress. And Ray is coming out of like the basement, and he's like, what the fuck are you wearing? Get out of here. Don't wear that white dress. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And he's like, go change. Come back in an hour. Go to get a cute top, slim leg line. You go to American Apparel if you have to. Slim leg line. I don't care. Cute top.
And don't come back in like sweats and like a flannel shirt and just be a dick.
Yeah.
I'm a dick. I know how that works.
I know all the dick moves.
I know the dick moves. Don't be a dick.
Cute top, slim leg line. I was like, this is the most Ray shit ever, and I love it.
And I thought he was going to be like, don't wear white because it's coffee and you're just going to be covered in brown smudges all day.
Nope.
Instead, he says like a homeless person's going to wipe blood on you or something. And it's like,
she's like, don't we wear aprons? He's like, what is this? We're not a fucking wet nurse hospital or something. I forget what the line is, but it's like.
But yeah, it was going so fast. I was like, I can't. I like stopped taking notes.
Yeah, at certain points, I was like, we might need to pause this and rewind because I'm like taking so many notes.
I'm like just transcribing in real time. My shorthand is not that good. But yeah, so then. Does she just come right back and then they're inside?
Yeah, that's the next thing is she's there with her cute top and her slim leg line.
And she's like talking about, she's like, don't forget I have to leave early because I have this reading to do.
Yeah, it's like, isn't this your first day and you're already like, I gotta leave early, Ray? It's like, man, you're a bad employee already, dude.
And then she's like, says, oh yeah, I gotta do it. It's like, what's the reading about? It's like, it's an essay, it's about me. He's like,
it's about me dating this hoarder in college. And he goes, of course.
Like, of course it's not. She's like, I write personal essays, so it has to be about me.
Yeah.
It's like, but it just seems so trivial. And like,
why don't you write about it something that's not trivial? And she's like what? And then he goes on this rampage of listing all kinds of shit that's not trivial.
Racism, climate change.
Yeah.
And then he ends with like death.
Urban sprawl. And it's like death.
Death is in
death. Write about death. That's the least trivial thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, Ray's got a point. He did name a lot of things that are not trivial.
But you can write about trivial things or do podcasts about trivial things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, trivial things are fun.
Hey, we talk about some important issues on this podcast.
Because this show's important.
Yeah, the show's important. We're important. We are the voices of our generation, Vance.
Our separate generations.
We are the voice of these generations who are commentating on the voice of a separate generation.
Yeah. We're just like, were their voice any good?
We're the voice of our gender's generation about another gender's generation.
Yeah,
whatever. We're stupid, dude. I'm hopped up on Surge. I drank a Surge before this, guys. It's been a while, and I'm fucking amped right now.
I can't even keep track how many beers that I have.
Yeah, no, we're wasted in our own ways.
I mean, we're just so amped up for this season finale.
Yeah. So anyway, Hannah gets like really self-conscious, I guess, about what she's gonna read. And she's
because Marnie's been down in her writing.
Marnie's down on her writing. Ray. Whose opinion that she respects so much.
He was like, I read your diary.
Yeah.
I read your diary, and I gotta say, if I had a red pen, I would have marked it up. He just puts a grade on the front of it.
F.
No, D for effort.
But it's funny because didn't he say that she was a good writer when he was reading the diary?
Yeah, I think he was, and then he flips because he reads about Charlie and goes, we're not gonna read this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Obvious. Anyway.
So then she goes to the reading, and the first thing that we see at the reading is like some lady talking about how like some guy's trying to take a dump on the world or something. Or
I honestly was not paying attention because I knew it was an end of a story thing that was just like the capper, like before the main.
It's like one of those things where you hear the punchline to a joke. And,
yeah.
And I told her, that's my wife. And then everybody laughs.
Yeah.
And it was one of those situations.
And then you have the scene start. Yeah. So I like completely just zoned out.
Yeah. So then Hannah goes up to do her reading and she's like, okay, my name is Hannah Horvath. I think that. Horvath?
Hannah.
This is the 9th episode.
I still don't know their names.
So Hannah's like, hi, I'm Hannah Horvath. I don't know if we do the sort of thing here where you introduce ourselves, but I just did, so you guys have to deal with it. Originally, I was going to read a story about a guy that I dated in college who was a hoarder, and I didn't know because he didn't seem like a hoarder, but I decided against that because, I wasn't feeling it, and I wrote this next essay that I'm going to read for you on the subway over here. And that might seem like I didn't work on it for a long time and that it's not important or it's not going to be good, but we were stopped at Canal Street for quite a while, so I had some time to work on it.
Crickets.
Yeah. It shows the audience and they're like...
They cut to them and they're just staring at her blankly. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at first when she started that, and she was like, oh, I did this story about a hoarder, and I was like, why are you giving it all away? You're about to read the story.
Yeah, right?
Like, I don't want to know what the story's about before you read it.
So then she's like,
also,
okay.
It looks awful. That looks like the most boring thing to be a part of. Because it's not like...
the reading?
Oh, man. It's just
it looked
like,
real stuffy. And
it looked so stuffy.
It looked like exactly what Adam thought it was.
Yeah, and I was like, Adam, you do not invite Adam to that.
No.
You do not.
No.
You don't do it. Do not invite that into that world. You shouldn't even be there, but don't invite him.
You know what would be funny is see Adam's monologue from the last episode done at this meeting. I was 13. I was jerking my big wiener.
Yeah, I saw this guy, Adam, do a play, and I'm just like, that's they're all talking about in the background of the party. Have you seen this one-man show?
So Hannah reads her story, and I don't exactly recall what...
Well, it's about...
Word for word what it's about.
It's about when she was dating this guy on the internet named Pyro666.
Yeah.
And he... Yeah.
He was going to meet her, and he was on the subway, and then he dies.
Oh, yeah, that's how she ends it. She's like, and he
dies. And she keeps saying dies.
Yeah.
She's like three times.
She's trying to get that, like... oh, if I just throw someone dies, then I'll get an emotional reaction from it.
Yeah.
It's that, like, cheap way of, like, killing it. Like, oh, and then the car accident killed my wife, and you're like, oh, now we have to feel
sympathy,
sorry for you. But it's like you haven't built up to it. Like no build up to this.
Yeah, no, it's like a 3-sentence story.
Yeah, and also like completely made up.
Yeah,
and nonsense.
Yeah, and
well, basically, it's her basically tying into the Tally story and being like, oh, well, this sells, so let's just like write some generic stuff that tugs at some heartstrings. And
what I thought what was happening was she was reading from Tally's book, and someone was going to be like, that's not yours, that's Tally's. Yeah. That's what I thought was happening, but then it was even worse than that. And
I don't think she would have ever read from her book, because then the payoff wouldn't have been like, it wouldn't have been like she was reading from that book, and then it's like, see, you guys thought this was good, but it's not. Like, I wouldn't have had the intended reaction. And plus, when she said the guy was Pyro 666 or whatever his name was, and I was like, she was like this internet guy. He was my internet boyfriend, and we dated for 6 months, and then he died.
Dude,
yeah,
this story just bombs. Nobody gives her any kind of emotional response.
And then there's like, they cut to later, and the professor comes up. He's like, what?
Well, no. First. There's an old lady comes up to her, and she's like, I have a question about your story. And she's like, okay. She goes, like To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen? It seems like the pedophiles that are on there are just lonely and wanting to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And then Hannah's like...
Or like trying to like defend like what they do. And she's like, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
And then Hannah's like, that's not really a question. And then she's like, isn't it though?
She's like,
and then walks away. And like, I didn't understand what that was about.
Was
it? I feel like it was saying that Hannah's incredibly lonely and wants to just talk to people. I don't know.
Because the only thing I got from that was that Hannah has a story about a pyro, an internet boyfriend, and that older woman was like, internet? Yeah, that when they get those guys from that show. Yeah. From the internet. And that's the only tie-in I got. Because they didn't do a full story for Hannah. Yeah. Like, she says he died, and I'm sure there's more to her story, but we cut that out. But yeah, I think that's what it about. I don't think it was like a deeper, like, you're the pedophile, Hannah.
I think it wasn't that she was a pedophile. I think it was that she was trying to tell her, like, you're a lonely person or something.
I just think it was supposed to be like little comic relief that didn't land.
Yeah, it didn't land for me. Yeah. I didn't get it.
And I really thought that they were setting up in the beginning that she liked the teacher a bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And I was like, why did you invite Adam to go to this thing where you're trying to hook up with this teacher?
Yeah.
But it's not about hooking up with the teacher. No. It's literally solely about her writing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the teacher comes up and he's like, hey, why didn't you read that funny story that you emailed me?
Yeah, why didn't you read the story about the hoarder?
And then she's like, I thought it was trivial, and now I feel trivial, like, because I did this, and like she storms off.
Pity party.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where like I get the point of her like feeding into other people's opinions of her writing and changing herself and
realizing. Yeah, she didn't follow her instincts.
Yeah, just go like write your truth.
Yeah.
That's really what she was telling Adam.
Truth queen.
That's right. That's what she was telling Adam last episode. It was like, this is your truth and your story. It's weird. You're a weird person, but at least you're telling it from an honest,
an authentic place.
Yeah. Like that girl Tally is probably a terrible writer in what she says, but she's probably writing the way that she thinks.
Yeah.
You know, and it might not be what you like, and it's definitely not for everybody. But sure, if they like it, they like it, and whatever.
So then Hannah storms off. She storms off. She's like, I'm leaving. And then she's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I embarrassed myself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the professor literally does the thing that we both hate. Where he goes, Hannah, wait. And doesn't like attempt to chase her or anything.
She's slowly walking through this party.
Just, like,
we just saw her running last episode. She's not running past you. There's so many stairs in that building. Like we saw her when she came and she was running late. It's a winding staircase that comes up, like a big one.
Beautiful shot.
Great shot.
Beautiful shot of her waddling upstairs. Like
she's running so funny.
Weird.
It looked like she was in pain.
I'll give her credit because she was wearing like big heels.
Okay, yeah.
She was wearing like big, like kind of wedge things, but it looked funny. It looked
so
weird.
Funny. But like, if he really wanted to stop her, he would go.
Totally
and then I'm like, dude, you haven't seen her since college. You're her professor. Yeah. Like, you don't need any. Like, he kissed her on the cheek when she showed up.
Yeah, that was weird.
And it was like,
Yeah, that was really weird to
Like,
me.
that didn't seem like that was their relationship, right? Like, oh my God, good to see you, kiss on cheek. Because kiss on cheek means nothing usually.
Yeah.
But that one felt like, wait, you guys have just seen each other for like the second time in like however many years it's been.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 years or whatever.
So she leaves there, gets back to the apartment where we can now kind of tie in Marnie.
Marnie's in the apartment.
Marnie's in the apartment, just she's throwing away old clothes, and Hannah comes in and she's like, "Look, I just had like the worst. Maybe you can do this.
This is
story
Marie.
better."
This is Marie Kondoing because Jess was like, "I got to go back to the house and redecorate."
Yeah.
And Marnie's like, "I got to get rid of these clothes."
Yeah, she's
They're
like, "I gotta
definitely
get
like,
rid of
"I got to
these."
find my joy by getting rid of these objects in my place."
Yeah.
So like, Marnie's just like getting rid of old.
And this is the epic scene that I was like, I feel like we should watch this scene again.
Yeah.
Because it was so much going on.
You said that, but then
we didn't
not
do it.
rewind back.
Yeah, we did not. I was trying to take notes.
I got a decent amount of notes, and maybe yours will fill.
Okay,
in my
yeah, that's
gap.
what I was gonna say. I hope that you took better notes than I did,
Like, if
because
we just
I was
traded off on lines.
Yeah. I'll write down Marnie's lines. You write down Hannah's lines.
Just reading the transcript.
So
but
I'm gonna have to ask you to take the lead
Okay,
here.
yeah, so-
and then if something,
yeah, you jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get through
we're a
this.
team,
We'll
Vance.
get through this.
We're a team. We're both drunk.
We're going. You're drunk off of
Surge.
caffeinated sugar, green sugar water. Yeah. So, well, Marnie's throwing out some stuff. She's throwing out her clothes, and then Hannah's like, "Wait, why are you doing that? That's a nice thing. That's good. Like, you should like donate it to the Goodwill
You
or
should,
charity.
you
or
should give it
something."
to like the homeless. And Marnie says
I don't
something
think
like,
poor people need to wear my old shit. or
on
something.
top of everything that they've got going on.
Yeah.
Like,
She's like, God, Marnie.
wow, what a selfish prick.
Yeah, Marnie.
And then Hannah's like, well, what about that dress? I really like that dress.
Yeah.
And Marnie's like, you can have it if it fits you. And I was like,
And I was
dig.
like, damn. She has been reading Tally's book.
Yeah,
that's what
right?
I'm forgetting. When she comes home from the reading,
Yes.
on the table is Tally's book, Leave Me Alone.
Yeah,
Sitting on
and-
the table. And she's like, wait, you bought this? And Marnie's like, yeah, it was a book.
Yeah, it was a book
Sorry.
release party. I
Yeah.
bought the book.
Yeah.
And
Did you
then-
not know she bought the book? You guys came together.
Right.
Like, I thought she, like, whatever. And it's just sitting on the kitchen table.
Yeah,
It's
who
like-
does that?
I was reading at the kitchen table.
Yeah. And then left it there for you to see.
Yeah.
And then Hannah's like, do you like it? And Marnie's like, yeah, I mean, she's a good writer and it's a
Yeah.
good book.
Yeah.
I cried twice.
It's just like, just twisting
Little
that knife.
fucking-
Just twisting
The
it.
subliminal disses,
Ugh.
dude.
Passive aggressive.
And then
Yes.
Hannah somehow tries to bring up something about her life.
Well, that's really why she walked into that room. She's like, well, the reading went bad. And like,
Yeah.
Marnie's like, no, I don't have.
I can't
I'm
do this
doing
right
this
now."
right now. I'm doing this thing. And she's like, but then when she walks out, she's like, oh, I have the dress and whatever. She says that, and then she gives her the dress. She says the line about if it fits.
Yeah.
And then Hannah's like, huh, are you mad at me?
And then Marnie's like, no, I'm not mad at you. I just have shit going on.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the dumpster to throw out her
Like
clothes.
a little trash chute outside
Yeah.
in the hallway.
Nice
And I
trash
was
chute.
like, man, she really is throwing this in the trash.
Yeah.
Like it is Brooklyn. You could just put that on the side on the street and people would pick through it. Like
Yeah.
anything.
And especially Marnie, she's got high class taste.
Yeah. Like
You
her
know?
old shit is going to be.
She get a Buffalo Exchange, get some money for
Yeah.
that shit, you know?
Or just like if you don't just throw it in whatever.
So then Hannah follows her out to the dumpster chute thing, and she's like, I feel like you're mad at me.
I'm picking up on social cues today. I'm picking up on social cues. Yeah.
And then Marnie's kind of like, I'm not mad at you, but I just can't talk to you right now
Yeah.
because I'm dealing with my own shit.
Oh no, she says on top of paying for everything, I think I should at least be allowed to have like
A night off from
night
listening
off.
to you talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Which was brutal line.
yeah.
And so true.
But also,
but like,
oh yeah, we can choose whose side we're on at the end of this.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think it might differ.
all right, let's hear it.
But no, let's go through this like back and forth. So she says that line to her, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I just can't deal with listening to your stuff and all of your shit and your problems, and that's all we ever do."
Yeah.
And then Hannah's like, "No, what are you talking about? All we ever do is listen to your problem. should I be with Charlie? And I'm not with Charlie if I should be. Will I ever be with him? I'm never like.
Will I ever find anyone else?
Like, yeah.
And then Marnie's like, really? You're going to bring that shit up? And I think that she said something about like, I think that there are so many mean things that people could say to you.
Well, that comes up a little later because Marnie brings up something really interesting. She goes, that selfish thing. She's like, you're so selfish.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then she says, that's why you don't have any friends from preschool.
Yeah.
Which was the weirdest.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
I didn't go to preschool.
I don't see Marnie's friends from preschool.
But I definitely don't know how many friends I have from kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like, I have one good old friend, and I'm like, I think we might have been in kindergarten together. I know we were in elementary school together.
Yeah.
But I don't know when exactly the point is. But I don't think a lot of people are friends with people from preschool.
Yeah, me neither.
Especially,
I have one from kindergarten that I'm still friends with. Yeah. Or maybe two, but like...
But also, like, that's not the equivalent of if you're selfish or not.
Yeah.
And also, if you move to New York from where she's from.
Michigan.
Yeah. Why would...
Exactly.
So you have to... it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, and Hannah's like, I do have friends from preschool. I'm just not talking to them right now.
It's like, I'm like, that would make sense if you guys were in 5th grade.
Yeah.
But like, you guys are like... it was such a weird line. I had to like write that down. But then that happens, and then Hannah says that Marnie is just obsessed with success, and she just wishes that she lived with someone that was more like...
Tally Schiffman or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, you wish she was your best friend.
Well, that was after... That was after Marnie said, there's so many mean things that I could say about you. And then Hannah's like, like what?
Before that, we're going to keep going back.
We're going to keep doing
But before that.
But we're bad at this podcast shit, dude.
We're trying to keep it in order for you guys.
Yeah.
And gals.
Yeah.
Hannah...
Just watch the episode before you...
Just keep the episode on while you listen to this.
Yeah, just hear how stupid
it'll make it more confusing. Hannah says that, no one can say anything mean about me because no one hates themselves more than I hate myself.
Yes.
And that's when... Which is like really a deep thing. And then that's very deep.
And that's when Marnie throws the haymaker of like, I could say a million mean things about you that you probably don't even know about. And then Hannah's like what?
And she's like, I won't do that.
Because I'm a good person or whatever. I'm a good friend.
And I was like, no, you're not.
Wow, this is unraveling, bro.
I'm like, I've watched Marnie talk shit about her with multiple people, even strangers. Like, I don't like, Marnie, you are not a good friend. Oh, they bring up the thing. She brings up like her like, and this is so like Lena Dunham.
After this,
is
when Marnie's brushing her teeth. I keep getting these people.
No, but is that before or after the masturbation thing?
No, that was before. So she's brushing her teeth.
So the masturbation thing is before this.
No, the masturbation thing is after this.
Okay.
So I could say so many mean things. Mm-hmm. Marnie goes to brush her teeth. Mm-hmm. Hannah says like what, mm-hmm. And then she says the line that you said about she's obsessed with success, mm-hmm. and that she wishes that she was roommates with Tally Schiffer or mm-hmm. whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it goes from.
Well, then she also you set it up like you had it.
Well, then I know that the masturbation thing is after that.
When then she says Adam thinks that you're just like.
You're like a step away from being a psychopath.
And then she's like...
And no one can tell behind your giant smile.
Yeah, and then it's like, no, you're the wound. No, you're the wound.
Yeah.
And they keep like accusing each other of being the problem.
Yeah.
Which if you think back to the episode when they were at the party and at the rooftop and Hannah's ex-boyfriend is like, I can't listen to you. It's like you and Hannah are like the same person.
Yeah.
Like you guys always argue and want people to listen to your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, when this scene is happening, Marnie's like, I don't want to listen to your stuff. I'm like, dude, you guys are both... I thought that's what the two of you were there for.
Yeah, that's
to listen
what
to each other's...
do.
I thought they were there to listen to each other's shit.
Yeah.
And then the middle school masturbation thing kind of comes
you used to have to masturbate 8 times before you went to sleep because you were worried about dark demons stealing your soul or something?
Or, like, to help your body, like... to heal your body from something or whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, that was like my deepest... Hannah's like, that's my deepest, darkest secret. And I don't want anyone else. And Marnie's like, I haven't told anyone.
Yeah, I haven't told anyone. I'm telling you right now, and I haven't told anyone because I am a good friend, unlike you.
Yeah.
And then
if this was a straight up comedy, they both would have gasped and started crying. And like, she's like you. It would have had a record scratch or something. But no, like then that happens. And then they start throwing their toothbrush at each other and accusing each other of stuff.
Yeah, and then Marnie's like, that's it. I want out. And then Hannah's like, out of what? She's like, I can't live with you anymore. I don't want to live with you anymore. And then Hannah's like, that's great because I don't want to live with you anymore. And I'm not just saying that because you said it. I was thinking it, and you just said it first.
That's actually really good pacing on the way she said that line. Yeah. Completely like that.
Like, all of her lines are said like that, though. So that is my deepest, darkest secret, and I told you that I didn't want anyone to know about that.
Yeah, it's almost like she's trying not to laugh and break in the scene a little bit.
And then they walk past each other to their respective rooms and slam the doors, and that's the end of the episode.
And when that happened, I was like, man, so I guess the next couple seasons are just going to be blank. It's going to be all Shoshanna. It's all Shoshanna.
Well, finally we can get what we want. They're like, the people want.
Now that they're not friends anymore.
The people's champ, baby. Shoshanna. All right. Well, whose team are you on here? Are you Team Hannah or are you Team Marnie?
In this case, I'm going to say I'm Team Hannah.
Team Hannah. What is your reasoning behind this?
What team are you on?
Just for sake of doing this, I'm going to say I'm Team Marnie.
Okay. Are you forcing yourself to be Marnie or are you leaning?
I understand her point of view a lot.
Oh, we just brushed over the biggest reason of all of this. She's like, oh, I'm tired of having to pay for you, blah, blah, blah. And then Hannah throws the accusation. That's not it. You're just mad that I have a boyfriend and you don't.
Oh, yeah.
And that, when she said that, was true. That is the reason that Marnie is being the way she is.
Yeah.
Because it was always fun for Marnie to have to deal with the weirdness of Hannah's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When everything was like somewhat fine with her and she could like bitch about Charlie as like a thing that you just have to complain about. You have something to complain about that like whatever. It's like not like, no, you don't have to solve the problem of Charlie because Charlie's still there. It's something you can be like, oh my God, he's being so annoying today. But he's still there. You still have this person.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's gone and Hannah's got like Adam, a boyfriend who like, I guess she wanted him as a boyfriend and she's got him. And her life's not perfect either, but like for Marnie, having a boyfriend is the thing. Yeah. And that's what Hannah calls her out on, being like, you think having a boyfriend is everything. Which, in Marnie's defense, is almost how Hannah thinks too.
Oh yeah.
Because
that's what defined Hannah before
the smile that she had in that back of that cab when they were riding home after he said he would be her boyfriend is bigger than she's had during anything.
Yeah. So that's like most happy that she's seemed.
And they both define their lives by having
their
boyfriends.
Which even when Adam wasn't her boyfriend, she was calling him her boyfriend.
Yeah. And even if you go back in this, and I'm going to bring Shoshanna back into this. She's like, you know what? I read that paragraph, and I was like, I got to live my life to the fullest. So I went on a dating app. Like, so you dating is going to be living your life to the fullest. Like, the only person that's not, like, traveling, like, guy will solve problem is Jessa.
Is Jessa the best character now?
Because that's what adventurous. Because
she is the most independent woman, I guess.
Honestly, like she legitimately is not like clingy to a guy. Like she likes knowing that she has the power over men, like she did with her ex-boyfriend that said he just wanted to see her. But you don't just see your ex-girlfriend like that. Like why? He had no reason. She's not likable. Yeah, like she's not a likable person. No. So like you're not being like, oh man, what's going on in your life? Like no. I don't even know if she needs to go back to Europe ever. Like she just showed up in the pilot. I don't even know. Anyway, all right. They both define them. I'm Team Hannah-esque.
Yeah. I'm Team Marnie-esque as well.
Yeah, because they both deserve each other. But Marnie has been, I will say this, Marnie has been more maliciously negative about Hannah than Hannah has been about Marnie. Like, there hasn't been scenes where she's like, my God, Marnie, just get over it. Like, or whatever. Like, she's always been willing to, like, listen to Marnie complain about stuff. Mm-hmm. She's not actively not paying for stuff because she just chooses not to. Like, she's literally, like, having her own... You can say whatever you want about people in that type of style where like they don't want to take random fast food jobs because they don't want to make like it's not a malicious attack at Marnie.
Yeah.
It's like she would have the same problem living with anyone or living by herself.
Yeah.
Of trying to make the.
Well, when they said that they wanted to move out, I was like, where's Hannah going to go?
Well, the problem is like we know that this is not a one-off show.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what gets tied together next episode or what gets pushed apart.
Is she going to move in with Adam?
Oh, that just... Oh, no. No. No.
Yeah.
No.
That's the only place she can go.
Well, if that happens, then why would we ever see Marnie? Like, why would we ever... They would never be... The four of them would never be... We just found out last episode that Shoshanna or that Jessa isn't really friends with Marnie.
Yeah.
Marnie would have to take Hannah's side on this.
Yeah.
If it came to who you're going to hang out with.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone's only friends with Shoshanna because they were friends with Jessa.
So, like, Marnie wouldn't be in... Marnie'd just be, like, the side character. Charlie's not even around.
Yeah, he's in Rome with Audrey.
Dude, living his best life, man.
Fucking
No, he's in Milan.
Good for Charlie, man.
Yeah.
Good for him.
She was holding Charlie back.
Yeah, she was.
Charlie's such a nice person.
Dude, his band killed it after they broke up. The real winner of this series so far is Charlie.
Yeah.
He was hooking up with Marnie, who's super hot. Now he's hooking up with Audrey, who's super hot. And his band has gotten better by like 100,000.
And his friend Ray is kind of a sleazebag, but kind of a fun sleazebag. He's the Jessa.
He's a sleazebag.
He's the Jessa.
But he's at least entertaining. Jessa's just mean. And for like no reason.
Jessa had a great line though. She had a great. She's good for these like one-off lines, and I can't remember which one it was. It this episode where she said something at the party?
I don't know.
Last episode.
I'm going to present my case for Team Marnie though.
Okay, present your case.
I think that I would start to really resent Hannah because of the money thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I could see that wearing on her. And I will say this.
But was it wearing on her or was the other stuff wearing on her?
Probably the other stuff.
Because the stuff that happened was
I think it's compounding.
Yeah.
They both are incredibly selfish because Hannah's right about like...
But Hannah has never gone around and told other people that Marnie's selfish.
She wrote it in her diary. And then Charlie wrote a fucking... Charlie wrote a song.
She wrote what Marnie was saying to her.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, the money would start to wear on you. And then,
absolutely.
But they're both selfish. That's what I was saying. Because Hannah did have to listen to Marnie whine about Charlie. And now Marnie has to listen to Hannah whine about all other shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're both bad people. They're both bad.
But I will say Marnie has
several episodes.
Well, I'll say this: Marnie has had less moments of like. Marnie's had less redemption moments than Jessa has. Like, there's not been a. What has Marnie done where you've been like, good for her? Like, if you think about it.
That's a good point.
Like, she has not done. Like, she can be like, I'm uptight and I don't like being uptight, and then goes on. She's going to be uptight the whole series. They're not changing her character type. So, like...
Yeah, I've never once been like, yeah, Marnie.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that for fucking Charlie.
Yeah.
You know what?
I've done that for...
You convinced me.
I've done that for Jessa.
You convinced me.
Yeah, like, Marnie's like, they haven't had a moment where you go, yeah, Marnie, you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, Hannah's even had moments where, like, she's... of lucidness where you're like, oh yeah, I can see Hannah's point of view, like in that one situation. Like, she's done so many, like being the de facto lead of the series, she's like done so many more things, you know, like she's done so many more awful things, but not things that are awful to Marnie.
I'm all over the place right now.
I know. I mean, it's just because this episode makes you take to account the last 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's like look back on our history and understand where both of us are coming from. Yeah. And then when you do that, you're like, you're both wrong and you're both bad. Yeah. And I don't like any of you. Yeah. Except for Shoshanna.
And like, I don't know enough about Shoshanna to dislike her.
Yeah, I can't wait till we find out that she's a piece of shit too, you know?
I mean, she does like to spy on people having sex.
That was funny. That wasn't even intentional. She was just like,
she didn't know where. It's so weird. I was like, how big is the
dirty
apartment?
little pervert.
She was just in her.
How did she stop that?
No, yeah. But didn't she? Yeah.
You know what?
That's
I'm team no one. This fucking episode sucks.
I just thought it was weird that they set up Shoshanna going on that date.
Yeah, and then never paid it off at all.
I don't know why that even was there, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's in the next episode.
I feel like there's something with her and Ray that we're not seeing. I thought like they would tease that when she was. I was so excited to find out that Hannah's working with Ray.
You know what's gonna happen the next episode is Jessa's gonna see Shoshana and she's like, "So how did your date go?" And she goes, "Oh, it was weird. I don't think I'm gonna see him again." And that'll be the end of it. Because that's what this show fucking does.
But no, I was really surprised that they brought Catherine Hahn's character back for this. Because I was like, you can't end that story that you had set up for most of this season.
But even that didn't answer anything. They set up Ray and then they didn't do anything.
Is she a therapist? Is she going to start going to therapy?
I don't know. I feel like Jessa needs her in her life or needs a mom. She needs
why does this woman want to help Jessa so much?
Why does anyone want to interact with Jessa at all, aside from the fact that she's pretty?
Do you think her husband might have slept with this girl and that you've been dreaming about shitting her out and you're like, I should help her. Help that dude.
Yeah, help your husband, man. He needs help.
Focus on those two children and find a nanny that's not smoking a cigarette right there.
That's true.
She was like, we need you. And she's smoking a cigarette in a messy apartment. How does she even know where she lives?
Yeah.
Have they ever been to there? She just shows up?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. But the weird thing is they have set up. I don't know what obviously they come back from this after airing out all their differences.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you put any of that toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish that Marnie would have said some of the really mean shit that she could have.
I wonder what more would it have been? Would it just been
anything that she says to Jessa in the last episode?
she just plays a recording of her.
She just pulls up episode 8 of the Showgirls.
She puts it in the projector and they just watch it in bed.
Yeah, her and Adam. You got any final thoughts on this episode before we wrap this shit up?
It's this one was nothing epitomized though. It was kind of all over the place, but trying to be focused.
Yeah.
And it was,
it just seemed like it ramped up super quick.
It was we need, it's the penultimate episode, and they're we need a lot of drama in this episode. We need drama in it. And I'm well, you had drama in the episode 2 episodes ago before she started dating Adam. And then the Adam episode is wow, this guy's super weird. And we're seeing more of him. And then I just want to see more Adam interacting with people. Not just because he's an interesting character, but because why would these people who are really good friends with Hannah not be super curious of who? I just remembered something from the opening scene with Jenny Slate. She also, when she goes, "Oh, I have a boyfriend. He's alive, unlike yours." She's like, "Oh, is he straight this time?"
Oh yeah, that was a good dig.
The dagger, yeah,
dude.
So at that, she's only dated the gay guy, the guy who what's the actor's
Andrew
name?
Rannells.
Andrew Rannells.
Elijah.
Who turned out to be gay. And now she's dating this super weird Adam guy.
You know what's crazy?
Where's the intervention for that?
This episode, when it ended, I remember saying to you, I was like, that was it? It felt super short, but now talking about it with you, it feels like 2 different episodes. Because the Jenny Slate stuff doesn't even feel like it. Well, it tied into the same reality as the end.
The weird part is that it was pushing Hannah not liking her writing stuff, but then when you get to the Marnie ending, it's about the relationship stuff.
Yeah.
So it built about her writing doubts, and people were able to talk her out of going with her gut, and Adam's always go with your gut. And she gets talked out of it. She reads the wrong thing, and she should have just stuck with it, and she feels like a ass for doing that. And then when she comes home, it's just she's in a relationship with Marnie, and they're just having a fight about something else.
Yeah, it's a whole other argument, a whole other story, a whole other arc.
And the seed of it is oh, she has that book. So it's weaved in there. It's just for Marnie and Hannah to have that type of an argument like that. it just needed. I mean, it's built up enough, but like, it seemed like Marnie wasn't in the episode enough for it to like get to that point.
I agree.
Because in the last episode, she was like sad and stalking her ex-boyfriend and all that. And they were like, okay, this is kind of, I don't know. It just felt like, all right, this thing has to be big and explosive and be like shocking.
Yeah. This episode, to me, it felt all over the place.
Yeah.
It was all over the place.
The scene with Jessa is just like, you got to come back and babysit our kids. You know I can't do that. Yeah, I know you can't do that. I want to babysit you now. I was like, wait, what?
But I also want to. I've been dreaming about murdering you.
Yeah, it's like, wait.
Why would I want to?
Wait, you were dreaming about that and you came over to say come back? Like,
Yeah, dude.
you say you were dreaming about that, then you asked to come back later. Like, okay, maybe I can forgive you and my kids like you, so
Yeah.
are you willing to give this another try? No, she's like, we need you.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, so that scene right there just kind of epitomized, like, the way the episode felt, but I thought the writing thing was well done, you know, seeing someone succeed that's not yourself, and like and being able to be shaken off your own grounds of stuff.
The haymakers, the digs, the subtle digs, the passive aggressive shit that was going on was excellent. That was so well done and just hard to watch because it was very personal between Hannah and Jenny Slate and Hannah and Marnie.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like rough.
Yeah.
But everything else, like surrounding it, like it just didn't feel like it connected for me. I don't know. I just didn't really like this episode, as I've said several times throughout us breaking it down.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
It was, stuff happened. It's definitely better than that episode where she went home, which is still my low point.
Which I think has some merits, but it kind of like halts the show to a grind, like, because it was like things were happening the episode before. I think that was right when she found out about the diary or something, and then we went home.
It was very Charlie.
And it was just like, wait, now we're just like having a Stranger Things 11 goes to find her sisters and family members episodes, and then we go back to the continuation. Like, you don't need the extra episode. But I mean that one had some merit, but like it wasn't.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe things will get better in the next episode.
I'm excited to see how this first season ends.
Dangling threads are answered. Maybe we are pulled up off of our cliff eventually. But
they do a lot of cliffhangers that don't
pay off at all.
So like, yeah, maybe they'll just be best friends eating cereal the next episode.
Maybe, who knows? Yeah. We'll find out in episode 10, which is titled "She Did."
Wait, oh my God, this is saying she did hook up with Adam.
And on that note,
when it happens, it's going to be great.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
All right, we'll talk to you later.